The origin of Christianity in India is traced to Thomas Didymus, one of the apostles of Jesus Christ. A few years after the ascension of Jesus, Thomas met Albanese, the trade agent of King Gundaphorus, who was ruling northwest India, which included the present Pakistan and Afghanistan. Thomas came to know that the trader was looking for an architect to build a palace in the Western style for his king. Jesus appeared to them and recommended Thomas as a very good architect and sent him along with Albanese to India. King Gundaphorus was happy to receive Thomas and gave him a lot of money to build the palace. Thomas gave it all to the poor and needy and started his mission of preaching the gospel. After 6 months, the king summoned Thomas and asked for the palace. And Thomas replied that the palace is in heaven. The king got angry and sent him to jail. That night, the king's brother became very sick and died. The king remembered Saint Thomas and brought him to see his brother's body. Touching the body, Thomas brought him back to life. The king's brother explained about the palace in heaven which he saw after death. The king and his men were shocked by this miracle and fell at the feet of Saint Thomas and got baptized. Many people got converted. After that, Saint Thomas sailed through the Arabian Sea and landed at Kodungalur, popularly known as Mucius, a famous port and trade center in the year 52 AD. He started preaching the gospel and established 7 churches, that is, the Christian communities in the present Kerala along the Malabar coast. He started the first church at Kodungalur, where he landed, with a small Jewish community settled there. His mission started smoothly and was well received by the Jews and other people settled in that city. Even today, we see the Marthoma Gate, his entry point, the pontifical shrine, built on the site where Saint Thomas established the church. Known as the cradle of Christian community in India today, this is the place where the first seed of Christianity was sown by Saint Thomas in the year 52 AD. The right arm of Saint Thomas is preserved in this shrine, and people from all over the world visit this shrine throughout the year.
This is the shrine known as Marthoma Pontifical Shrine. Is established on 2 reasons. 1, to enshrine the holy relic of Saint Thomas, the great apostle of Jesus, which is given to us by the Holy See as the precious gift in connection with the 19th centenary celebrations of the arrival of Saint Thomas to Bharata. Second, it serves as a monumental highlights for the great entrance of great Saint Thomas to Bharata.
Palayur, some 50 kilometers north of Kodungalur, is the second church established by Saint Thomas. This church is unique because it is built on the site where Saint Thomas himself built a church. It was here Saint Thomas performed the most famous miracle among the dominant Brahmins. In the Taliyakulam lake near the temple, The Brahmins were offering their morning prayer by sprinkling water upwards by the cup of their palm. The apostle wished to know why they were doing that and was told that the water was thrown upwards as an offering to the gods. In that case, your offerings do not seem to be acceptable to the powers above. Otherwise, the water wouldn't have fallen back, said the apostle. This naturally elicited a retort, and the Brahmins challenged whether St. Thomas could make the water drops stand in mid-air. St. Thomas said he could, but only if they promised to accept Jesus as their master. They agreed, and St. Thomas prayed and sprinkled water, and the drops remained in the air. Most of the Brahmins accepted Jesus and were baptized. The lake and the remains of the old temple, which the Brahmins destroyed to build the church, are still there for us to see. "15 kilometers south of Kodungalur and 15 kilometers north of the present Cochin city is Paravur or Parur, then a trade center where St. Thomas established the third community. The church built by St. Thomas is still there, renovated and preserved. There is a 2,000-year-old wall built by St. Thomas's men to save the church from the attack of the local king, Tipu Sultan and his men. Just behind this old church is the sprawling new parish church. One of the most beautiful churches found in India. After the Jews, the Brahmins and traders, St. Thomas targeted the farmers and came to Kokkamangalam, 50 kilometers south of Cochin, and preached the gospel among farmers. Picturesque village surrounded by the backwaters on one side and rich plantations on the other side, this place was where St. Thomas established the fourth church. This church is built on the spot where St. Thomas established a cross for worship. He stayed there for a year and converted 1,600 people according to Ramban Pattu, ancient form of Christian folk song. Niranam, an interior village with farming community, is the place where St. Thomas established the fifth community. He planted a cross for people to worship and preach the gospel. Today, this church is maintained by a separate group of Christians called Orthodox Church and who call themselves St. Thomas Christians. The priests have a unique dress code, and the prayers are also different from the Roman Catholic Church. Koilon or Kollam, 145 kilometers south of the present Cochin city and with a strong fishing community, is where St. Thomas established the sixth community. This town even today is a Christian stronghold.
The first church is taken away, destroyed by the sea erosion. After the coming of St. Francis Xavier, the second church was established. And now the present church is the third church.
All these six churches were either on the seashore or close to the coast. St. Thomas then moved to a popular hill resort cum trade center called Nilakal or Chayal. Since this town was on the border of the major kingdoms of South India, that is Chera, Chora and Pandya kingdoms, it was a busy trade center. St. Thomas was received well and preached the gospel among the local traders and to those who came from other parts of the country for trade. St. Thomas built a church, had many disciples, and the Christian faith flourished. St. Thomas told his disciples that he had to go to other places of the country and left Nilakal saying he would never return. Later, the local religious extremists destroyed the church in 1314 AD, attacked the Christians, chased them out, and developed their own shrine. The Christians who fled the place even now live in the nearby areas. This present church is a monument to the history of Nilakal. This is an ecumenical church, the only one of its kind in the world. All denominations of Christians come here for prayer and retreat. The International Center for Retreat and Prayer serves the purpose of thousands of devotees who come from all parts of the world.
AD 52 നമ്മുടെ പിതാവായ മാർത്തോമാ ശ്ലീഹായാൽ സ്ഥാപിതമായ നിലയ്ക്കൽ വിശ്വാസികളുടെ വിശ്വാസത്തിൻ്റെ ഏറ്റവും വലിയ കേന്ദ്രമായിട്ട് മാറിയിരുന്ന സ്ഥലമാണ്. തോമസ് ലീഹായിൽ സ്ഥാപിതമായ പഴയ നിലയ്ക്കലിൽ ഒരു ദേവാലയം പണിയുന്നതിനു വേണ്ടി 1983 കാലഘട്ടങ്ങളിൽ ഇവിടുത്തെ വിശ്വാസികളുടെ ഗണം ആഗ്രഹിക്കുകയും അതിനുവേണ്ട തയ്യാറെടുപ്പുകൾ നടത്തിയപ്പോൾ അത് ഹിന്ദു മതവിശ്വാസികളുടെ വികാരത്തെ വ്രണപ്പെടുത്തുകയും തങ്ങളുടെ പൂങ്കാവനത്തിനകത്ത് മറ്റൊരു ദൈവത്തെ പ്രതിഷ്ഠിക്കുവാനായിട്ട് അനുവദിക്കില്ല എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ട് വളരെ രണ്ട് മതങ്ങൾ തമ്മിലുള്ള വലിയൊരു പ്രശ്നമായിട്ട് നിലയ്ക്കൽ പ്രശ്നം എന്നുള്ള പേരിൽ അത് കേരളം മുഴുവനും ഇന്ത്യ മുഴുവനും അറിയപ്പെട്ട ഒരു സംഭവമാണ്. അപ്പോൾ അന്ന് കേരളത്തിലുണ്ടായിരുന്ന പിതാക്കന്മാരെല്ലാവരും കൂടി ആലോചിച്ച് മറ്റൊരു മതത്തിൻ്റെ വികാരത്തെ വ്രണപ്പെടുത്തി തങ്ങൾക്കൊരു ദേവാലയം അവിടെ വേണ്ട എന്ന് പറയുകയും അന്ന് ഭരിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരുന്ന സർക്കാരിനോട് ആവശ്യപ്പെട്ടതനുസരിച്ച് ഈ സ്ഥലത്തേക്ക് നമുക്ക് മാറ്റി സ്ഥലം നൽകുകയും ഇത് അനുരഞ്ജനത്തിൻ്റെ സ്ഥലമായിട്ട് രൂപാന്തരപ്പെടുകയുമാണ് ചെയ്തത്.
Saint Thomas, on the way to the Coromandel coast, came to Malayattur, a place surrounded by hills and rivers, probably to establish another community. But the locals gave him a hostile reception and his life was in danger. He went to the mountain top and in the forest he was in the abode of God, fasting and praying. He made the sign of a cross on a rock and prayed, and it is believed Our Lady appeared to him and assured him the persistence of the Church in India. The hill tribes went to the hilltop with their cattle, found a golden cross on the rock where St. Thomas carved the cross. They also